Michael Cohen's former attorney, Lanny Davis, to answer some of our questions. First of all, Lanny, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Have
you spoken with Michael Cohen recently at all?
Last week or so, yes.
And how's he doing? How does he feel the trial's going?
I think he's feeling the pressure, but still waits to tell the truth, as he did when we first met, when we decided to work together.
If you listen closely, you can hear Trump's attorneys salivating to do cross-examination against Michael Cohen. Is he ready?
Not only is he ready, but the salivation is to his credit. All the low expectations about his lying and going to prison, being a perjurer, and all those words were used when Michael testified in front of a congressional committee where the rules of evidence weren't applying, and he was on national and international television. The first words he said to the Republicans, and I'd be interested in my fellow attorneys what you would do on cross-examination with this, is, I am ashamed of what I did. I'm here to tell the truth. I don't expect you to believe me, but I'm here to do and own what I did for Donald Trump. So this witness, when he testifies, I am sure, is going to say, yes, I lied, and yes, I did wrong in many cases for Donald Trump, but I own that. Now I'm telling the truth. And it will be up to the jury to decide whether he's credible. The people who cross-examine him, of course, will try to suggest that he's not credible.
So right now, just to tell you what's going on inside the courtroom, right now, Emile Beauvais, who's Donald Trump's attorney, is getting Keith Davidson to talk about the deal, the hush money deal with Karen McDougal, the Playboy Playmate of the Year from 1998. And she said that the deal, $150,000, and she doesn't have to talk about her relationship with Donald Trump, was her, quote, dream deal. There was ongoing value in her image and likeness, right? Beauvais asked. Yes, Davidson said. Davidson confirmed that he did not speak with Michael Cohen about the Karen McDougal deal. It's a separate deal until after it was closed. Dana?
Lanny, good to see you. You talked about the testimony that Michael Cohen is going to give, but the other question, and I remember you when you worked with him saying that you do have the receipts, meaning it's not just what he says, it's what he can show. And what we're seeing this morning is the Trump defense trying to separate what Michael Cohen was doing from Donald Trump's direction. Does Cohen have the ability to say, this wasn't me freelancing, this was at his direction?
Well, he certainly will say that.
I mean, to show it.
To show it, the case is documented for everything that Michael says. And the documents are emails and text messages from others, not from Mr. Trump. And I always start, when I'm doing these interviews, that Mr. Trump is an innocent man till he's proven guilty under our system. So everything I say today, certainly with the knowledge of the gag order, but respect for the gag order, is that everything I say is left up to a jury to decide. My ultimate answer to the attacks by the cross-examination who are doing their job, it's up to the jury to use common sense to answer your question. And the documentation of what Michael says will be part of the establishment that what he's saying now, even if he lied in the past, is documented and the jury just may believe.
Lanny, did you talk to Michael Cohen recently about his decision to come out and say, I'm not going to attack Mr. Trump anymore while this is going on, as these gag order back and forths have been happening? Do you think he understands there's potentially repercussions for him if he keeds doing that?
So, I hate not answering questions, but I can definitely answer the question that we have discussed the subject, and you'll probably see not the results from my advice, but you'll probably see him showing more caution in anything.
And you think that's the right idea?
I'm not, again, going to tell you my advice, but and I'm no longer acting as an attorney, but yes, I think you'll see a different course of conduct.
Could I just quickly ask about the receipts? As you say, and you pointed out, the emails and text messages are not with Donald Trump. They are with others. And you talk about the jury's decision and common sense. But the bar here is beyond a reasonable doubt. You know what's in those emails and text messages. Do you think they make the case beyond a reasonable doubt?
So the answer is yes, but it will be up to a jury to use its common sense. I can't predict what a jury will do, and I respect the jury system, whether it's for me or against me. But I do think, based on what I know, I've been in the room for 3 years with Michael while this case was being prepared, and even before this particular case, the previous case on financial fraud that Mr. Bragg decided not to bring. I know that Michael is backed up in everything that he says by other witnesses, Mr. Pecker, For example, Michael will simply corroborate what Mr. Becker said, and it'd be up to the jury on the testimony involving Mr. Trump and himself and nobody else, whether Mr. Cohen should be believed, or if Mr. Trump takes the stand and he denies, whether Mr. Trump should be believed. And I'll leave that up to the jury.
And Lanny, I'm sure that Michael Cohen and the prosecution will offer exactly the narrative that you just described, which is Michael Cohen did what he did back then when he was with Donald Trump. He committed a lot of crimes. Now he's come clean, and he has done that, as you note, effectively before.